What's going on, y'all? It's JD Pickell. Today on the Hard Count, Caleb Williams is signed, sealed, and delivered to the USC Trojans. Welcome into CFB with JD, the People's Channel, for every single thing that you know and love about college football. Happens on this channel, happens nearly every single day that we do a video. Would love to have you subscribe along for the ride. Armstrong Sims, Jack McKenzie, they do the real heavy lifting until they get a great workout. From that, y'all drive the show. One medium you can help drive the show at is at my Twitter, at JD Pickell. It's also linked in the description if you can't spell my name. No shame in that, okay? So we do polls, we do open-ended questions. We try to involve you as much as possible through that medium just because it's very seamless. So a lot of things we do here is a byproduct of what y'all say you want to see on there. So make sure you're following. Caleb Williams is officially, the ink has, I think, just dried. He is officially a USC Trojan. He announced it via his Twitter page, had a really cool hype video. He had Snoop Dogg in it, had Will Ferrell in it, was looking nice in the Cardinal and gold with his boy Mario Williams. That's a done deal. Enormous implications, not just in the Pac-12, but nationally, across the college football landscape. That is going to continue to make ripples, not just here, but in years to come. We're going to get to that in a little bit. First, let's just recap this recruitment, because obviously this is the biggest move in transfer portal history. Not just the transfer portal. Let's just say in all of college football, there has never been a bigger transfer than Caleb Williams, to my estimation. So let's go back through how this all happened. First domino to fall, Lincoln Riley. After Bedlam says, I'm not going to be the head coach at LSU. He could have muttered under his breath, I'm going to be the head coach at USC, though. That's Caleb Williams' guy. Lincoln Riley goes to USC. Shortly thereafter the bowl game, Caleb Williams announces he's going to be in the portal. Leaves the door open just a crack to say, hey, maybe I'll go to Oklahoma. I might come back to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, within hours, gets themselves a new quarterback. Good for Oklahoma. So Caleb Williams' recruitment kicks off. And we had a myriad of rumors. I mean, we heard Maryland. We heard LSU. We heard Georgia. Apparently, it came down to UCLA, Wisconsin, and USC. We heard so many schools, but USC was always the one for him. USC was his pride and joy. And that was, I think, what everybody was really settled on for the most part. I don't think anybody really thought he was going to end up anywhere else for sure. The majority was always citing USC, but Wisconsin kind of made a play there at the end. Here's what it comes down to for me, and we've used this metaphor multiple times on this show. It's a weird metaphor, so stick with me. In terms of a high school dance, we'll call it the transfer portal dance, Caleb Williams was always the king. He was the transfer portal king. He was the homecoming king, whatever term you want to put to it. He had his pick of the litter. And that's why I think this took as long as it did. He was able to weigh his options. He was the man. If he wanted to go to Wisconsin, boom, he could have made that happen. He wanted to go to USC like he did, makes that happen. Want to go to Maryland, could have made that happen. So you catch my drift here. He wasn't in any hurry to go and ask someone to this dance. And the metaphor that I think, now that the dust has settled, fits even more perfectly into this is his ex, Lincoln Riley, was always the one for him. It was always Lincoln Riley. And they were that couple that they broke up at some point in time, but nobody really ever thought they were done. Nobody was really buying they're both single now, they're seeing other people. Nobody really bought that. Caleb Williams played the field. Maybe went on some dating apps, a couple of visits, a couple first dates. At the end of the day, it was always Lincoln Riley. And for what he cares about and what his family cares about, which is development and making him the most attractive prospect for the NFL, he made the right choice. I get Paul Chryst had a good relationship with Russell Wilson and groomed him to be the quarterback he is now. But you look at Lincoln Riley, you look at his resume in the modern era, his quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is starting in the NFL, Baker Mayfield starting in the NFL, Kyler Murray starting in the NFL. Two of those three won a Heisman Trophy. And people have already come out in the comments and said this, well, those weren't his quarterbacks. Those weren't his quarterbacks. He didn't, recruit them. They came to him as transfers. Will you stop nitpicking? Don't nitpick right now, because if you look at what Jalen Hurts was before he got to Oklahoma and after Oklahoma, he was a world's better passer. And you can't tell me that wasn't in some small part due to Lincoln Riley. So Caleb Williams made a career move right here. As a 19-year-old true sophomore, made a move for his professional career by going to USC, and that's really what it came down to. So what does this mean for USC? Well, they've already been slaughtering the transfer portal. I mean, Travis Dye, Mario Williams, on the offensive side of the football, they are going to be elite. They're going to be elite. What this means for them going forward, they're going to continue to attract talent on the offensive side of the ball. Might even bleed over to the defensive side of the ball because people are now perceiving USC as a national power. They're going to be a trendy pick for a lot of people to make the college football playoff. And so that attracts winners. It attracts winners. When you have some, what's the right word? You have some smoke as to how you can win. You have the pieces very, very obviously in place for how you can win. That's going to attract people that want to win. Just bottom line. I don't care what position you play. But you talk about receivers, I think we're seeing the transfer portal for this cycle kind of wind down. But after spring practice, guys are going to be unhappy with staffs, going to be unhappy with playing time and reps they got in the spring. That's going to ramp back up. We're going to have a second half of this transfer portal. So look for after spring practice, USC to really capitalize on getting some more weapons for Caleb Williams, because that's going to only enhance their profile on the outside. They're going to be a fun team to watch offensively at the very least. What does this mean nationally? I think you have to assume that USC is going to be a national player and that the Pac-12, when you look at the conglomerate of teams that they have that can make noise, Pac-12 could be back. Okay, now they have to do it on the field, but you look at what they have. You have UCLA and Chip Kelly is someone I will never, ever count out because of the way he can build programs and how lethal his offensive scheme is. Then you have Oregon, who has a national champion defensive coordinator becoming their head coach. Okay, so I think they're going to continue to build. You have Utah, who won the whole dang thing a year ago and gave Ohio State a run for their money in the Rose Bowl. I don't care about how many guys sat out for Ohio State, but Utah still put on a heck of a game, made a statement to the rest of the country for Utah, not just the Pac-12. And now you have USC, who is loading up on the transfer portal, got a generational talent in Caleb Williams, have a generational head coach in Lincoln Riley. Even if you want to be nitpicky, which again, we encourage you not to be on this show, but if you want to be, that's your own prerogative. You still have two teams that are going to be trouble for somebody nationally. You look at USC's schedule, they have to go to Utah, they have to go to Stanford, and that's it. They get Notre Dame at home. That'll be a tough one, but there's nobody on this schedule that I see that I think USC will be outgunned. Now, don't hear me incorrectly. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It still may take a season or two for this whole offense, this whole situation to gel. Because Lincoln Riley is still taking over a new roster. Caleb Williams is still going to have to get some way comfortable in South Central. So if it clicked this year, wouldn't surprise me. But I'm just saying, maybe hold those national title hopes a little closer to the vest until after this season. Then we can start talking about that after we see the product on the field for 1 year. Okay, so just temper that for a second. But the Pac-12 as a whole is going to be a much more strong conference going forward. Finally, something that I think we've kind of swept under the rug just a little bit. Caleb Williams has laid the blueprint for players of his caliber to follow their head coaches wherever they go, if they're early enough in their career. What does that mean? It used to be, hey, your head coach left, man, that's too bad. At least you still have insert quarterback here. Now we have the transfer portal era where quarterbacks might take a little bit more of a look at the transfer portal and maybe they'll weigh their options, but not jump in the portal right away. Caleb Williams has made it very clear and very obvious that these players are committing to coaches and not schools. Okay, so guys that are business-minded, guys that are NFL-minded, like a Caleb Williams, like I perceive an Arch Manning to be when it's his time to play at the collegiate level, they're committing to coaches and not schools. So, something to watch. Jackson State. I love Jackson State. I love the HBCUs. I love what they're doing for college football right now. If Deion Sanders leaves Jackson State, you better believe at least 3 or 4 high-profile players are going to follow him to whatever Power 5 school he goes to, including Travis Hunter. So I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade, but I think we need to just take an assessment of, okay, what does National Signing Day mean? National Signing Day means, great, you got the kid on your team. what college football is becoming about, and Caleb Williams is a tremendous example of this, rebounding. Coach leaves, ball is up in the air, and you better be the first one to grab it, box out, throw elbows as a program, and find a way to come down with your recruit and your players, because you now have to recruit year-round. This thing does not stop. Anyone who tells you the college football season is not going on right now, they're extremely wrong. They're not playing games right now, but college football is 1,000% a 365-day year-round event, and it's open season right now. USC got themselves a great one, generational one, in Caleb Williams. That's it for us here on the Hard Count. Again, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter to stay up with everything we're doing here at JD Pickell. We will keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.